What's up, guys? It's your boy HardHat Diggity Dagu back with another video, man. And today we're going to be talking about the untapped potential of Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. Now, for those of you who've been on the channel and know me, I'm a huge anime fan. Naruto in particular. As you can see, my hidden sound headband, got this back in high school. Sage Naruto hoodie. So I graduated high school and back in like 2017, something like that. So you could imagine my elation when this game was announced to release in 2018. I just got out of school, so I'm like, damn, no more homework. I ain't really got shit to do, so I could play this game all fucking day. Now, obviously, I had a job, but it was like, it didn't register to me that like the job would be taking up as much time as school was at the time. But like, I was super excited for this game, you know. So like, basically, when I was watching the trailer of it, I'm like, damn, we're basically going to get another fucking Xenoverse, but the Naruto version. I thought that shit was gonna be so tough, man, because I'm thinking about it like in Xenoverse you can fight Cybermen, you can fight fucking Great Ape Vegeta, so I'm thinking in my head like, damn, you're gonna get to create your own fucking ninja, you're gonna be able to fight like waves of other ninjas, fucking pick which village you're from, your Kekai Genkai, all these different things. And that's what really pissed me off about the way this game was marketed, is they show you fighting, you know, one of the Jinchuriki, which was the eight-tailed beast. So I'm thinking like there's going to be a nice balance of PvE and PvP in the game. They're showing you the different villages you could be from, which I don't even think you can choose, or I think you do choose, but all it does is affect your fucking starting attire. It doesn't affect your Kekai Genkai, the jutsus you can get or start off with, or anything like that, which I thought was a major waste, especially considering Xenoverse was doing at the time. And I really don't understand why they didn't go for that. I mean, like, the PvP is cool, don't get me wrong. It was fun for a while. I enjoyed playing flag battle, fucking base battle, and combat battle. But there was just something about it that felt lacking. And that's especially because it's mostly only 4v4 at a time. So that gets kind of boring. If you're not on a team that's communicating, which nobody does, to be completely honest with you, you're not going to have a good time. And if you're going up against people who are in a party, who are talking to each other, you're not going to have fun. And I really thought that was kind of disappointing, especially since there was so much they could have did with this game, especially from the PvE standpoint, which I'm going to get into, and I'm going to be using Xenoverse 2 as a very big comparison for this game. Because one thing I feel like they should have definitely added should have been like maybe a 1v1 mode, or even like a 1v1 tournament. Like they have the Chunin exams arena, but they don't have it set up like the Chunin exams. It's just a bunch of players get dropped into an arena and they just all fight in like a battle royale type of mode, which is dope. They should keep that, but they should also add like some sort of tournament. I think that would be really cool. I think a lot of people probably will be like, well, the combat's not set up for 1v1s and da-da-da-da. But I'm like, to an extent, I guess. But I don't know. There's enough there that you can definitely 1v1. I mean, you can block, you can substitute. That's enough to kind of, you know, give yourself a little bit of defensive mechanics as far as the combat goes. I feel like it definitely has room for a 1v1 mode. I mean, they even added a jutsu shop to the game, and it basically only was there so you can buy, you know, base jutsus, not the DLC jutsus. But the thing that pissed me off is I don't think they added it until around the time where most players would have already had all of the base jutsus by then. So it's really useless, and they haven't added any new jutsus to it. And as many jutsus as Naruto has, I feel like that was a super waste. And that's what I'm saying. You can say what you want to say about the DLCs in Xenoverse 2. I understand, like, having to buy new content, but, like, let's be real. They at least put a lot of base shit in the game to unlock before they started dropping DLC packs, for one. You know, I don't really see the complaints with that. DLC has become, you know, a part of gaming at this point. Like, everything drops with a DLC. If it doesn't drop with a DLC, it's game of the year. These DLCs have definitely been lackluster recently for Xenoverse 2. I cannot lie to you. Specifically, the little future Johns where all they do is take a character that's already in the game and make them like dark purple. That shit's stupid. I don't like that. But my biggest thing with this game specifically is like there's a lack of immersion into the Naruto universe. And what I mean by that is like, yeah, fighting other people's created ninjas is cool, but it doesn't really do enough. You get what I'm saying? Like the combat battles just come down to everybody meeting up in the middle of the map usually, and then everybody's just letting off jutsus. And if your team's not communicating, then it's really just a random fight. If you are communicating, then it's a little bit more tactical. but who really communicates it? Unless you have a 4-stack that you hop in a party with, you're not going to have a good time on Shinobi Striker. You go and play the PvE missions in fucking Striker, and people obviously want more PvE because every time I go in there, there's people playing it, and there's no real reason to play it because it doesn't really let you train too much for the PvP because some moves don't even work like they should on the NPCs. They just look fucking cool when you use them. But I feel like they should have definitely, you know, programmed all of the fucking attacks to work on the NPC so people could practice in that mode. Because it exists, and I'm like, well, why make it if you don't want people playing the PvE mode? For instance, as far as PvE goes in like Xenoverse 2, shit like Cyberman's Revenge, where you and your boys can hop on as any of your favorite DBZ characters or your own created character and just go in and fight waves of Cybermen, and you feel like how the Z fighters did trying to fight them, and you understand like, damn, okay, you know, I thought they were pretty weak, but when there's a bunch of them, I can understand how these characters at this power level kind of struggle. And that's what I'm saying. You can even go in and use those characters from the show in that saga and see how it feels to play as them, especially when you are so used to playing as your created character and then you finally play as, you know, the fucking Z fighters. It's a whole night and day kind of thing. You can definitely feel a difference, and it definitely feels like their movesets aren't really equipped to take out waves of Cybermen, which I think would have been dope if Shinobi Striker had a mode where you could play and fight in the 4th Ninja War and you know, fight waves of random Zetsus and shit like that. And they have Zetsus in the game and random fucking PvE missions, which I feel like they shouldn't be there. They just couldn't think of other enemy types, but you know, whatever. But another thing that really bothers me too is like the type of missions. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a lot of fighting in Naruto, but there is also a lot of stealth because they are ninjas. I would have liked some missions to, you know, kind of incorporate that. You might be like maybe stalking another ninja from another village and have to sneak into a compound without being seen. Like, and there's potential for that because there's jutsus where you can turn invisible. There's jutsus where you can dash super fast. The teleportation jutsu, increase your movement speed. Like, I feel like there were so many things they could have added and incorporated some of the things that are already in the game, like flag battle. Imagine a PvE mode where you gotta sneak into a fucking village full of enemy ninjas, grab a scroll, and then get out of there while a bunch of enemy ninjas are just coming down on you and you gotta escape. Imagine missions where you have to hunt down a Jinchuriki and kind of fight through their village to get to them, and then you finally get to them, and then there's the big boss battle and you fight the Jinchuriki, and for beating the Jinchuriki you get like a jutsu related to their, you know, moveset. And then another thing that I realized when I was playing Shinobi Striker is the PvE mode opens up a lot more creativity with the jutsus. Like, for instance, I was fighting Susanoo Sasuke, and he goes up into the air above where I could, you know, potentially hit him from the ground. And you could dash at him and try to get a couple hits in, but then, like, he's just going to swipe you away. So what I did was I ran up a wall next to him, did the mud wall, and the mud wall comes out straight and gives me like a platform to not only run up to him but also shields me from his attacks at the same time. And I thought to myself once I did that, and that was kind of the inspiration for making this video, is there's no moments like that in the PvP that I can think of. Like, there's no real moments where I feel like I would have to do something like that. Usually you just use it on the ground, lift it up so you can avoid getting hit by other players' jutsus. And I'm not gonna lie, like, they add a lot of cool shit, but a lot of the cool shit they add kind of gets toned down in PvP mode because there's no real, like, the being able to ride like a mount or summon an animal is cool, but for the most part you don't get much use out of it in PvP unless you're like just spawning in. But like once you're around other players, it's very hard to use it in an effective way because most jutsus are going to knock you off of it, or they could just dash up to you and knock you off of it. I feel like it would be super dope if like you had the ability to summon like a bird and fly over a battlefield full of, like, you know, NPC ninjas, sound ninjas, zetsus, anything like that, and maybe even have your teammate on the back of your summoned animal like shooting down fireballs or anything like that. Like, there was a huge amount of potential for what this game could have done that I feel like it just under-delivered on. And it really pissed me off that they showed us footage in the trailer of, you know, somebody fighting a Jinchuriki, and there's only like a few missions where you can actually fight Jinchurikis, and there's only what, like the 8 Tails and I think Shukaku. Those are the only 2 Jinchurikis you fight. Oh, and Naruto, to the 9 Tails. Those are the only 3 that you can fight in the game. Now they have added some jutsus for the 4 Tails, I believe, and the 2 Tails, which is cool, but it's like, I don't know, it kind of didn't, it makes it less unique that I can just buy the Jinchuriki jutsu instead of actually having them in the game as somebody you can fight. I would have been a cool raid battle. That would have been a dope raid battle. You and your team have to go fight this Jinchuriki and you all leave with that jutsu or something. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they did the bare minimum compared to Xenoverse 2. Like, Xenoverse 2 has its problems with DLCs, but at least they gave us a lot of shit before the DLCs. And I can understand them having to use DLCs to keep the game going. Whereas with Shinobi Striker, it's like it's the same shit over and over again, and they're just giving you DLCs to do the same shit over and over. Like there's so many things they could be adding. Like they haven't done much. It's just the PvP, and that's it. And if you play PvE, I mean, there's a couple cool PvE missions, but for the most part, there's not much going on there once you've played all of them. And I would have liked to see them keep adding new scenarios and shit from the show to that mode. One thing that I think would have really been cool, which I go back to Xenoverse, is how Xenoverse, for your created character, there's like stats that you can upgrade as you level up throughout the story. And let's talk about the story real quick. I'll come back to the stats in a second, but let's talk about the story. So how Xenoverse has that whole like time travel storyline where, some villain is messing up actual canon events from the story and you got to go back and fix them. Why didn't Shinobi Striker do that? And it's very possible to do it because, first of all, it's called Naruto to Boruto. And in Boruto, they have a plot line exactly like that where they have to go back in time. Because in fucking Storm, Sasuke even has like the time travel outfit as one of his alternate outfits. So why didn't they do that? And it's not like they would be copying Xenoverse by taking that storyline, because they have that storyline in their actual anime. They could have did that, let you create your own character, let you pick a Kekai Genkai. That would have been tough. You know what I mean? Maybe you could unlock more like the same way you unlock transformations in Xenoverse. I think that would have been super dope. But also they should have made like a stat system for you to level up to also give the game some extra like depth. Like, let's say for instance, you could level up how fast you weave signs, because everybody uses the same jutsus. To make it a little bit more interesting, what if, you cast a fireball, I cast a fireball, but because my hand sign stat is better, I can weave it faster to get it off before you do. Tell me that wouldn't be like a super dope thing. Maybe, have a chakra stat the same way there's a key stat in Xenoverse where, now you can let off more jutsus before you have to recharge your key. Things like that I think would be super dope. Stamina might be your substitutions. Some motherfuckers can substitute more than others. Basically your stamina could be how many clones you can make. You know what I mean? Like for the clone jutsu being your substitution jutsu, how many times you can clone yourself before you need a break and need to recharge your stamina. And obviously basic attacks, strike supers, ki blast supers, shit like that can all be, related to the certain jutsu types. And another thing, even jutsu, like, so there's this combo I like to do in Shinobi Striker where I use the like Tamari ultimate where there's the big tornado, and once I get people in that tornado, I let off in a Amaterasu, which is dope. It really works well, especially in the PvE mode, but even in the PvP mode, it works super well, because once they're inside the fucking tornado, they're taking damage, then they get hit by the Amaterasu, and they're taking hella tick damage. But wouldn't it be awesome if they had like some sort of system where it could recognize the different styles, like in the show where like if you use a wind style then a flame technique, it just makes this huge explosion. Imagine doing the Tamari tornado and then your Amaterasu wraps around it and turns into this big purple tornado flame. Like things like that I feel like would have been super awesome to add into the game and really make it, because right now it does not feel like a Naruto game to me. Like you have the Naruto abilities, that's cool, you have the Naruto skins, but it doesn't feel like a Naruto game. It just feels like almost like a hero shooter with Naruto abilities, and that's disappointing to me. It's underwhelming. I feel like another thing, only being able to use 3 jutsus is fucking trash to me. I think that was a bad idea on their part. I think they should have did the Xenoverse route again, where it's like you have 4 different abilities you can equip, then you have your 2 ultimates, which could be your 2 ultimate jutsus, and then you have an awoken skill, which could be your Kekai Genkai. Imagine if instead of Byakugan being like a jutsu you just activate, it's more of a transformation where you activate your Byakugan, it's on for a little bit, it should maybe constantly drain your chakra gauge as you use it, and once it's empty you gotta wait for it to fill back up again to use it. Some shit like that. I feel like that would have been way better. The Sharingan as well, make the Sharingan, instead of it being just a jutsu that helps you substitute, which I thought was kind of trash, make it a transformation skill. And here's how I would do that. I would do it like when you activate the skill, whoever you're locked in on, you now can use their loadout. So it's almost like body change in Xenoverse, but a little bit maybe cheesier. I think the best way to balance would be it costs a lot of chakra to use. So once you do copy and get their loadout, you should go down to an empty. Your chakra should be completely empty, and you got to charge it again before you can even start using their jutsus. But I think you should be able to use their jutsus. I think that would be fucking tough. There's so many things they could have did that they didn't do. Now the Renegon, I think the Renegon, once you activate that, you should just get a whole new fucking loadout. So whatever your loadout is, up until you use the Renegon should probably cost like a crazy amount of chakra stocks. It should cost like 8 chakra stocks, something like that. So your character has to be super leveled up before they can even use it, and then it just switches out your entire move set. But it should drain your chakra the same way Super Saiyan Blue drains your ki in Xenoverse. I think that would be fucking dope. There's just so many things they could have done that would have made the game have a lot more depth to it. And this even applies to PvP. Like I like PvE more, but I play PvP too, and I can see places where the game would go through the fucking roof if they just did a little bit more. And that's what I think is so disappointing. Just, I don't know, man. I feel like they could have took a lot of notes from Xenoverse 2 as far as PvE goes, and just the way the game should have been set up. They could have added a cool ass story mode, and I promise you this game would have been Marvel Rivals would have a run for its money right now. I'll tell you that right now. And Marvel Rivals doesn't even have like a PvE mode. It's just a good ass PvP game. I promise you, if Shinobi Striker did a little bit more and did some of the things that I suggested in this video, their player count would be through the roof, and they would be one of the more talked about anime games out right now. But I feel like I've ranted long enough. This is your boy HardHat Diggity Dagu, man. Let me know what you guys think. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of constructive criticism. I'm clocking out, and I will see y'all on the next video. Peace.
Same player, just a new game. Niggas messed up like Shao Kahn, but bitch I'm Liu Kang. Left, right, raise my firearm and then I shoot flames. Like feel like I died on XCOM, my whole crew changed. Damn, old school flow, but I'm not old, I'm retro. Ballin' like Bo Jackson in tech mode. So playing PS2, there's some shit I can't let